Matter is actually a poorly defined term in science. The term matter is used in reference to a substance, often a particle, which has rest mass. Matter is also used loosely as a general term for the substance that makes up all observable physical objects. Why is matter so vaguely defined? Because there is no matter. What we consider matter really doesn't exist. Quantum physics has revealed what ancient masters knew long ago. That is, matter does not exist. The concept of substance arose from the philosophy of the Greek philosopher Aristotle. From this concept arose science's conception of matter. The fact of the matter is, the substance of the universe is consciousness. This is the real secret of water, and Cymatics reveals this truth. Ernest Rutherford was a New Zealand-born physicist and chemist who became known as the father of nuclear physics. Ernest Rutherford performed an experiment in Manchester, England, that revealed to him the shape of the interior of an atom. Scientists were shocked to discover that the atom is almost entirely empty space. The question then became, how could this empty atom possibly make a seemingly solid space around us? All matter originates and exists only by virtue of a force which brings the particle of an atom to vibration and holds this minute solar system of the atom together. We must assume that behind this force is the existence of a conscious and intelligent mind. This mind is the matrix of all matter. The solidity of this world seems totally indisputable as a fixed thing which you can see and touch. Your body seems also reassuringly solid, but beginning with Albert Einstein, modern physics has assured us that this solidity is a mirage. All physical matter, everything we have around us, is actually the result of frequency. Sound is one of the sole factors which holds existence together. Sound is the basis of form and shape. Everything in existence is the result of a frequency. On July 8, 1680, Robert Hooke was able to see the nodal patterns associated with the modes of vibration of glass plates. Hooke ran a bow along the edge of a glass plate covered with flour and saw the nodal patterns emerge. The German musician and physicist Ernest Chladni noticed in the 18th century that the modes of vibration of a membrane or a plate can be observed by sprinkling the vibrating surface with a fine dust. The powder moves due to the vibration and accumulates professively in points of the surface corresponding to the sound vibration. The points form a pattern or lines known as nodal lines of the vibrational mode. Experiments of this kind, similar to those carried out earlier by Galileo Galilei around 1630 and by Robert Hooke in 1680, were later perfected by Chladni, who introduced them systematically in 1787 in his book, Discoveries on the Theory of Sound. In 1967, Hans Jenny, a follower of the anthroposophical doctrine of Rudolf Steiner, published 2 volumes entitled Cymatics, in which, repeating Chladni's experiments, he claimed the existence of a subtle power based on the normal, symmetrical images made by sound waves. Jenny created the majority of his images using tone generators and crystal oscillators connected to metal plates, enabling him to precisely control the frequency and amplitude of the signal. Jenny made use of crystal oscillators and an invention of his own by the name of the tonoscope to set these plates and membranes vibrating. This was a major step forward. The advantage with crystal oscillators is that one can determine exactly which frequency and amplitude volume one wants. It was now possible to research and follow a continuous train of events in which one had the possibility of changing the frequency or the amplitude of both. The tonoscope was constructed to make the human voice visible without any electronic apparatus as an intermediate link. This yielded the amazing possibility of being able to see the physical image of the vowel, tone, or song a human being produced directly. Not only could you hear a melody, you could see it too. Jenny put sand, dust, and fluids on a metal plate, connected to an oscillator which could produce a broad spectrum of frequencies. The sand or other substances were organized into different structures, characterized by geometric shapes typical of the frequency of the vibration emitted by the oscillator. According to Jenny, these structures, reminiscent of the mandala and other forms recurring in nature, would be a manifestation of an invisible force field of the vibrational energy that created it. He was particularly impressed by an observation that imposing a vocalization in ancient Sanskrit of Om, the lycopodium powder formed a circle with a center point, one of the ways in which Om had been represented. Jenny concluded his book by proposing that the generative power of reality is made up of three fields: vibration, which sustains physicality with two poles, form, and motion. Together, these three fields create the entirety of the physical world. What seems solid is really a wave, and this wave is composed of quantum particles that are constantly moving. Even a still form is created vibrations, moving patterns, or sound in visible form. In his research with the tonoscope, Jenny noticed that when the vowels of the ancient languages of Hebrew and Sanskrit were pronounced, the sand took the shape of the written symbols for these vowels, while our modern languages, on the other hand, did not generate the same result. Is there something to the concept of sacred language, which both of these sometimes are called? Do they have the power to influence and transform physical reality, to create things through their inherent power, or to take a concrete example, through the recitation or singing of sacred texts, to heal a person who has gone out of tune? The more one studies these things, the more one realizes that sound is the creative principle. It must be regarded as primordial. No single phenomenal category can be claimed as the aboriginal principle. We cannot say, in the beginning was numbers, or in the beginning was symmetry. They are not themselves the creative power. This power is inherent in tone, in sound. Jenny was convinced that biological evolution was a result of vibrations and that their nature determined the ultimate outcome. He speculated that every cell has its own frequency and that a number of cells with the same frequency created a new frequency which was in harmony with the original, which in turn possibly formed an organ that also created a new frequency in harmony with the two preceding ones. Jenny was saying that the key to understanding how we can heal the body with the help of tones lies in our understanding of how different frequencies influence genes, cells, and various structures in the body. Water memory shows how our intentions can alter the material world. This has been demonstrated by Dr. Masaru Emoto, who has performed studies showing how simple intentions, using prayers, which are sound, dramatically shaped the way water crystallizes. Dr. Emoto has photographs taken of water after being exposed to the different variables and subsequently frozen so that they would form crystalline structures. The science of cymatics in water illustrates that when sound frequencies move through a particular medium such as water, air, or sound, it directly alters the physical structure of matter. This is extremely important because more than 80% of the human body is made of water. Everything in nature is connected to sound, and this by extension means that everything resonates at a particular frequency. Water cells, for example, have a resonant frequency of 432 hertz. So hold on, guys, I'm still researching this. I still am debating whether it's actually 432 or 528. So keep in mind this video is also a rough draft because I also have to do some experiments on my own to see if this is true. Now, let me get back to what this sentence was saying. A frequency of 432 hertz at which they form perfectly symmetrical patterns. 432 hertz is the harmonic intonation of nature. I still don't know if this is actually true, and is closely related to 8 hertz, which is said to be the fundamental beat of Earth, known as the Schumann resonance. Like Hans Jenny, many shamans of yesteryear believed that sound was the origin of everything. They knew how to coalesce pictures of reality out of sound, even to effect genetic healing. This was done by many Amazonian shamans who created three-dimensional images out of sound as part of their doctoring. Sound has been considered so primordial that one of its scales, called the Solfeggio, was kept secret for hundreds of years. The Solfeggio is a 6-note scale and is also nicknamed the creational scale. Traditional Indian music calls this scale the saptak, or 7 steps, and relates each note to a chakra. These 6 frequencies and their related effects are as follows: Do, which responds to 396 Hz, Re, which responds to 417 Hz, Mi, responds to 528 Hz, Fa, responds to 639 Hz, Sol, responds to 741 Hz, and La, responds to 852 Hz. Mi has actually been used by molecular biologists to repair genetic defects. Some researchers believe that sound governs the growth of the body. As Dr. Michael Isaacson and Scott Klemek teach in a sound healing class at Normandale College in Minneapolis, Dr. Alfred Tomatis believes that the ear's first in utero function is to establish the growth of the rest of the body. Sound apparently feeds the electrical impulses that charge the neocortex. High-frequency sounds energize the brain, creating what Tomatis calls charging sounds. Low-frequency sounds drain energy and high-frequency sounds attract energy. Throughout all life, sound regulates the sending and receiving of energy, even to the point of creating problems. People with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder listen too much with their bodies, processing sound through bone conduction rather than the ears. They are literally too high in sound. As for humans, the ordinary thought waves created by the human brain range, range from 14 Hz to 40 Hz. This range only includes certain types of dendrites belonging to brain cells, predominantly within the left hemisphere of the brain, which is the center of activity. The two hemispheres of our brain are synchronized with each other at 8 Hz. They work more harmoniously and with a maximum flow of information. In other words, the frequency of 8 Hz seems to be the key to the full and sovereign activation potential of our brain. 8 Hz is not only the natural frequency of the Earth, but as it happens, 8 Hz is also the frequency of the double helix in DNA replication. And melatonin and pinealine work on the DNA, inducing an 8 Hz signal to enable mitosis and DNA replication. A form of body temperature superconductivity is evident in this process. Our emotions can cause a disturbance in the psyche, which manifests itself in the ego. These manifestations may cause the heart rate to increase, body temperature to rise, and other physical traits which signify anger. Just as music from the radio is the physical manifestation of an intangible signal, our experience of emotion is the physical manifestation of an intangible signal too. It has been shown that our emotions possess a vibratory frequency. Further to this, it has been shown that there are only two emotions which humankind experiences: love and fear. All the other emotions branch off either directly or indirectly from these two emotions. Fear possesses a long and slow frequency vibration, while love possesses a very rapid and high frequency. Again, Cymatics can reveal the vibrations forming the foundations of existence. Studies in structured water science, electrogenetics, and protein crystallography provide knowledge about how you are built using sacred geometry. Every carbon-6 hexagon in your body is vibrating musically with 528 Hz energy and operating energetically or biospiritually. Your physical chemistry, in fact, is entirely regulated energetically. Simply consider Simply consider the pH of your blood as vitally important in health versus disease. pH is a measure of acidity versus alkalinity, and that fundamentally reflects electron availability or energy levels. Acid alkaline dynamics in your body is like the yin yang of cosmic creation, since 741 Hz is distressing and 528 Hz is relaxing, and stress is acidifying while rest is alkalizing. 528 Hz may be your miraculous elixir, especially when put into water. 528 Hz is probably the most therapeutic sound in the cosmos, given the fact that your organic structuring is based on it. Your organic structuring is now recognized as being a manifestation or precipitation of energy vibrations, molding molecular sacred geometry. Proof of this simple concept is shown in the most important energy transducers on Earth: chlorophyll and hemoglobin found in your blood. Look carefully at these most important life-giving structures to see the sacred geometry of 528 Hz frequency, the circular array and hexagonal ring. Biophysics best explains this process. By which sound energy, measured in Hertz frequencies, moves like waves through water, cymatically precipitating physical reality, regulating chemistry structures and functions too. The science of cymatics asserts the mechanism by which spirit or energy vibrates and resonates your water-filled physical body back into balance and health. The universe is much like fractal art or cymatic manifestations. Various formations occur due to changes in vibrations interacting with major pure tone Solfeggio entrainment forces. Likewise, pertaining to healing, harmonious or discordant frequencies have been shown to produce striking differences in human tissues. Sound waves from the core of the universe, or SGW, entrain your DNA and other structures for cymatic reconstruction, commonly called healing. Sure, your parents gave you certain genetic traits, but you are a lot more than paternal and maternal genes. Researchers found DNA protein production mechanisms account for only about 3% of genetic function. Alternatively, genetic industrialists have institutionally degraded genetic science by using the name junk DNA to discredit genetic energy operations responsible for more than 90% of DNA's activity. This involves biosonics and/or bioelectrics. Sound and light signaling is really what causes your eye color to be recreated every nano instant of your life. In other words, you can thank your parents for about 3% of your existence and thank God for more than 90% of your moment-to-moment sustenance. These revelations lay the foundation for understanding creationism and yourself as a child of God, created by the Creator's spoken word, sound math, as detailed in the book of Genesis. The implications to civilization are revolutionary and evolutionary. Think about this. If everything is a creation, including you, and you are given a simple set of 9 core creative frequencies used to create the universe, what would you have and do? You might start using this knowledge to recreate yourself in total health. Then, once you experience miraculous effects, you might consider sharing this knowledge with others or recreating portions of the world that need repair. Cymatics proves that these vibrational forces are the primary causal powers which create matter and its structures. Vibrational forces are the source of physical structures. In other words, physical structures are the crystallization of these vibrations into matter. The primary power is held within vibrational medicine, not in modern allopathic physical approaches, which by definition deal with the symptoms and only the current physical structure. Western medicine ignores vibratory oscillations as the primary causal source which create the physical structure in the first place. These vibrational frequencies are the true foundation of regeneration and healing. Western medicine relegates frequency medicine to a secondary position as complementary therapies. Western medicine feels it is superior to all traditional energetic healing methods, partly because Western allopathic medicine focuses on visible physical structures, whereas the vital energies focused on by traditional healing are by their very nature more subtle and not physically visible. Jenny theorized that each cell has a unique frequency or energy signature, that a number of cells with similar frequencies created tissues vibrating another frequency in harmony with the original cell. Adding tissues to form organs creates more frequencies in harmony. Ultimately, harmony, health, and homeostatic balance is administered vibrationally. Concurring with Muller, Jenny argues that recovery from disease states could be aided or hindered by pure tones. Mounting science supports Jenny's proposal that frequencies, above all else, influence genes, cells, and various structures in the body. And proof of this is the American inventor and doctor by the name of Royal Raymond Rife, who found that pathogens, bacteria, and viruses, including cancer, Each had a resonant frequency and was able to target and destroy these cells by means of an electronic resonator. Another person who discovered the secrets of resonance was Ed Leedskalnin, who built Coral Castle by moving huge blocks of limestone using only a harmonic oscillator based on magnetism. And already cymatics is becoming the future of medicine. The CymaScope is a new type of analog scientific instrument that makes sound visible, allowing scientists to see sound's vibrations. Within the instrument, the surface of pure water offers a kind of super-sensitive membrane, and by imprinting sounds onto the liquid surface, unique patterns of sound energy are created for every unique sound. Just as the invention of the microscope and telescope revealed aspects of the world and universe that we didn't know existed, the CymaScope allows the once hidden realm of sound to become visible. And since everything in the universe is in a state of vibration, a tool that shows the structures with sound and vibration can provide important new scientific insights. American scientist Dr. Sung-Chul Ji has developed a novel method to digitize the CymaScope, permitting the sound patterns to be analyzed with digital tools, effectively creating the world's first digital CymaScope. Dr. Sung-Chul explained, I first encountered the CymaScope in November 2016 when its developer, John Stuart Reid, gave a lecture at the 11th Water Conference in Sofia, Bulgaria. I found his lecture on the holographic properties of water to be inspirational, highlighting the potential for the CymaScope instrument. So much so that upon my return to the USA, I began to investigate how I could digitize this important new scientific tool, which would allow me and other scientists to analyze cymaglyphs, the name given to sound patterns, quantitatively. I contacted John Stuart Reid and made suggestions as to how this might be possible. Astonishingly, within the space of only a few weeks, facilitated by the timely financial support provided by Green MedInfo, Bonita Springs, Florida, we were able to develop a digital method that allows any cymaglyph to be analyzed numerically. The first project chosen for the digital CymaScope is to differentiate between healthy cells and disease cells. All cells create sound as a natural aspect of their metabolism, and healthy cells have a different sonic signature to disease cells. When cell sounds are made visible with the digital CymaScope, distinctive features can be analyzed that could lead to the development of a new diagnostic tool. This is groundbreaking news, guys. This is how cancer cells can be singled out and wiped out just like Royal Rife did, as well as AIDS and HIV infected cells. Sung-Chul Ji recently published a paper in which the digital CymaScope is cited for the first time, titled Waves as the Symmetry Principle Underlying Cosmic, Cell, and Human Languages. Part of its abstract predicts that gravitational waves will one day be visualized with the digital CymaScope. If this prediction proves to be valid, a new era of quantitative gravitational cosmology may emerge in the future, in which the digital CymaScope may play an essential role. In the Bible it is written, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. And in Sanskrit it is written in the Nada Brahma, which states, the world is sound. Well, now we have proof of that. Cymatics is the study of sound on matter. German investigator Peter Peterson advanced this science by summarizing the field's top researchers' views on the creative connection between sound vibration and physical reality. His work laid the foundation for scientifically comprehending creationism. Eons ago, in molding our universe, the words or sounds generating the frequencies or keys of creation were sung. This voice gave rise to the cosmos. This same celestial orchestra is currently playing as loudly as ever, although you cannot hear it without special equipment. It inspired and sustains you. You are learning that everything is crystallized within water from math, the perfect language of the creative spirit. Everything in creation comes from love, and all destruction follows fear that arises from lacking faith. Respecting these discoveries and describing water-filled humans, you are digital, bioholographic, precipitation, crystallization, miraculous manifestation of divine frequency vibrations coming out of water. Creation is a function of language, and life is based on the sacred geometry of mathematics, all encoded with numbers, electromagnetic frequencies of sound that, as Jenny concluded, relates spiritual message between people and God as well. This secreted sacred truth holds the capacity to free humanity completely from enslaving paradigms imposed by those who manipulate language today. They are called the lawmakers or legislators. These elected and appointed officials control so-called civilized society through their grossly dysfunctional and damaging legal systems that are based on definitions and manipulations of words with secret or special meanings. Think about this. Airline passengers are forced to receive cancer-causing electromagnetic radiation for screening. The courts could certainly use electronic lie detectors to cut through the bogus proceedings encouraged by our current system of injustice. Extending the power of creative words or the core creative frequencies into the legal domain, some researchers claim that reverse speech does not lie. Voice recordings played backwards, they argue, reveal truths from the soul. Hans Jenny concluded that everything, including biological evolution, can be observed to incorporate cymatic elements found throughout nature. Vibrations, oscillations, pulses, wave motions, pendulum motions, rhythmic courses of events, serial sequences and their effects and actions. He convincingly demonstrated that all natural phenomena were ultimately dependent on, if not entirely determined by, the frequencies of reactive vibration. Frequencies evidence creative technology at work. The master conductor, master composer of the universal orchestra is singing you into existence right now. God is constantly broadcasting hydrosonically in the spirit of holiness and harmony in 528 Hz frequency, as the coming chapters increasingly demonstrate. Love, 528 Hz frequency, is the universal healer. Water is the universal solvent. Music is the universal language. Put them together and you emulate your Creator and heal the world. From the book 528, Prosperity, Key of Love, by Leonard Horowitz.